your cheating guides, with a million guides, roll takes guaranteed to leave you satisfied. Let's a roulette your side.
What?
Drunk Tank Podcast. Drunk Tank Podcast. Yup.
Fuck. God, so you think now, last week we were the number 4 podcast on iTunes. Did I tell you guys that?
Number
Wow.
four.
Number 4.
And we're still recording in a conference room, and now where are we today? We're in downtown Los Angeles.
Yep.
Hey, Mark, do you want to tell us what is this incense that's burning that we're smelling right now?
Sandalwood.
Sandalwood!
I saw the incense burning and it's right over the electronic equipment. I was like, something's
Barbara
on
freaked
fire.
This is where it all starts to go wrong.
Exactly.
So, Barbara, why don't you explain why we're out in Los Angeles today?
We are out in Los Angeles because we went to a Machinima Partners Party last night called Machinimates.
Is that what it's called? Actually, Machinimates?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about that name?
Hashtag Machinimates.
Are you okay with that name? Everybody good with the name Machinimates?
I'm okay with it.
That's fine.
It's like Playmates, but Machinima.
It kind of reminds me of Animorphs, but totally different.
The lovely voice that you are hearing right now is one of our best friends in Los
Oh,
Angeles.
thanks, Bernie.
Miss Hannah Hart has decided to join us. Hannah Hart, everybody!
Oh, yay! Thanks, Bernie.
And as you're one of the main reasons why when we came out to LA, we wanted to record a podcast while we were
No
here.
way! Really?
Because you never come see us in Austin.
Well, I went. What are you talking about? I was just there over the summer.
Yeah, you recorded a voice for Red vs. Blue.
Yeah, man. How much more do you want from
We
me?
need it all, Hannah.
Yeah.
We can never get enough of you.
That Hannah's character is my face with her voice.
Oh my god, you guys really need more girls in your life.
We really do. We really do. Well, we have a big imbalance at Rooster Teeth where we always have really good-looking women and not so
Hey.
good-looking men.
Yeah.
But let's go around real quick. I'm Bernie Burns.
I am Gavin. Free.
Jordan Swears.
Jordan Swears, who makes the Rooster Teeth Animated Adventures, is
AKA.
joining
Not
us
to be
today.
confused with Jordan Spears. I'm Barbara Dunkelman.
Not to be
Barbara,
confused with Barbara Funkelman. Hey!
Cool.
And I'm Hannah Hart.
And I think actually we might be having join us a little bit later, Shira Lazar. I came out here actually before everyone came out for the party to be on her show What's Trending, which I was tweeting about all last week. So hopefully she'll get a chance to join us.
I sent in a little clip of myself, didn't I, Bernie, for your appearance on her show?
Yeah, that was weird. So we came out for the show. What's Trending is Shira's show. It shows daily on YouTube, youtube.com/what's trending. And they were having me out to basically celebrate 10 years of Red vs. Blue because I just hit my 10th anniversary making the show.
Yeah, 10 years of reference.
Yeah, 10 years of my life. There it goes. Hard to remember. But
Hey, at least you have a good way of tracking time.
well, Hannah, you know what it's like because you're one of the most prolific YouTubers out there. I mean, you're working all the time.
I would not say I am one of the most prolific. I am certainly one of the most drunk.
Which we like. You know,
Yeah.
we actually, the name of the podcast used to be the Drunk Tank Podcast,
Oh, really?
but we had to change it for sponsorship purposes.
I like how we were
Yeah.
literally at breakfast this morning. We ate at the Waffle, by the way, which is fantastic. Bernie was talking about how all the podcast themes still have Drunk Tank in it. And you just happened to choose a fucking Drunk Tank theme this morning.
I didn't choose it. We should also note Gus is not here. So Gus is the guy who normally runs the podcast. And-
Gustavo Fring.
yeah, he acts like Gustavo
He can
Fring.
make
Hey,
it
I got
'cause his
some
face
bad
came off.
news for you about him, man. He's dumb.
He's what?
I said Gustavo Fring. He's from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you
his
actually knew I
face-
know the guy
No,
or
I
something.
don't. No.
his face come off.
90% of the things I say when being recorded by a microphone are a lie.
Well, last week we did our Breaking Bad spoiler cast where we tell people we're going to talk all about Breaking Bad. So if you've never watched the show,
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, don't listen to our podcast that week because
I haven't listened to it yet because I have not seen the last episode.
oh my god, such a good
Apparently
show.
You guys just go into
What
really
an
crazy
episode it was.
Yeah, you
Eyes
seen it?
just got so big.
I know. It's kicking in.
Hannah, did you ever get a chance when you were down in Austin to go to the Alamo Draft House at all?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
So it's a movie theater where they show like lots of like
Oh,
fun
I
stuff.
do.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Funny story about the Alamo Draft House. When My Drunk Kitchen first happened back in like summer of 2011, if you guys can remember that far back a year ago.
That's when the terrorist attack.
Alamo Draft House tweeted at me and emailed me and contacted me being like, you should come to Austin and do something here with us, da-da-da-da-da. And at the time, I still had a job and I was like, what's YouTube? So I was like, who are these strangers? So yes, I'm familiar with them, have never been, and want to go.
You should totally do a night
man.
at the Alamo. That would be awesome.
That's what sold Austin to me is the Alamo Draft House.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Not
pretty badass.
us and working,
Nah,
being a
but
fan of our
it's
show
kind
for
of
8
like-
years.
Nah, it's a side thing.
What was your other job, Hannah?
I
Your old
was
job?
a proofreader at a translation company.
You know Japanese, right?
So desio.
Holy
She
boner.
was a Japanese
Yeah.
translator. And let me see if I
Got really
have the
excited.
story right, because this is how it is in my head. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So you made a video for your friend.
Correct.
Did she move somewhere? And
I
you
moved.
You moved?
Yes.
Okay, and you moved to where?
From San Francisco to New York.
Oh, I didn't know that. So I always thought you were like a native New Yorker.
Ah, yes, I come across that way. It's delightful. No, I am a native San Franciscan, so I have the, abrasive forwardness of an East Coaster with the kind of stonedness
Yeah,
of
right.
California.
Laid back and grunginess
Oh,
of a
yeah,
San Franciscoan.
yeah.
So you made this video where you were making your first one was
Grilled cheese.
right? You're making a grilled cheese, and you decided to get drunk while making your grilled cheese.
Yeah, well, no. So basically, what happened was I was talking to my friend on GChat, the little the little GChat window, and she was like, "Man, dude, I miss when you would get drunk and cook for me, man, dude, man, man, dude." That's my given name, actually. Yeah.
Man, dude.
Yeah, man,
Man,
dude,
dude,
heart. Hey. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So yeah, and I just moved or whatever. So I was like, dude, I'll get drunk and cook right now. And my sister had just given me a loan to get this laptop, so I shot it all and I slapped it together in iMovie and I sent it to her. And so the reason that the channel's called My Heart Dome and stuff like that is that that's like a really personal nickname with my family and friends. But now it's owned publicly. Yeah, that's fine. I'll never have it again. Anyway, so then it just kind of took off from there.
And didn't she post the video? And she was the one who initially got it out there.
She put it on Facebook, and then Facebook spread it around, and then I found out that there were shows on the internet
Mm-hmm.
first time, which I discovered.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I chose not to go to graduate school, quit my job, and became a full-time YouTuber.
Hooray.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And then moved
Great
to
life
Los
choice.
Angeles, and now live in Los Angeles.
Yes, I did recently move to Los Angeles in February, much to my chagrin.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
really?
sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, LA's the worst.
Yeah, was it really? You know, like LA too much?
Yeah, I don't like it very much.
All right.
I like how you whisper as if
I'm trying to convince Barbara and Gavin that actually LA is a fun place. And actually, in the
Well, I
meantime,
mean,
trying to convince Jordan
I'm
over
here.
here.
I like the pretty ladies everywhere, in every direction at all times.
No, as you call it, minge.
The minge.
The clunge.
Gavin looks
The
around a
kin-
bar
what?
and he's like, "There is so much minge here tonight."
What's minge?
We don't know. Gavin just uses words that nobody understands.
I thought minge was like a negative slang term.
It
from-
sounds pretty bad. I think
Yeah.
clunge sounds even worse.
Clunge. You can switch out minge and clunge. Or
They're
quim.
interchangeable.
But,
Plunge sounds like something that happens when you break a toilet while trying
it's
to
clunging.
fix
It
it.
won't stop clunging.
Oh my god, did you plunge it? Well then I plunged it. Oh
And he
no.
munged it.
I learned a really cool phrase from Gavin called "frothing at the gash."
that's,
That's my favorite.
Oh god.
that's
We
a
like
quote
to-
from a British TV show called The In-Betweeners. And the guy's like, dude, these women be frothing at the gash.
I think even better than that is the Australian version, which is fizzing at the slit.
Okay.
Hey,
We'd like to welcome our new listeners to one of the top 5 podcasts on iTunes.
Oh my lord!
Thank you
Did
for
know-
joining us.
When I was in London over the summer, I found out from this one Irish girl that the Irish call mouth herpes party barnacles.
Nice.
God!
Oh, I just got the party barnacle. That was the most delightful thing I've ever heard.
The
in
fact
my
the
life.
word "party" is in there makes it
Yeah.
so
Party
there's a
barnacle.
There's a party barnacle.
party.
I like that when a Irish person says barnacle, they sound like a pirate automatically.
Can you differentiate?
No,
between
I guess
pirate
not. I didn't
and
realize how
Irish?
close Irish and pirate were.
Irish.
Irate.
But
So-
you were in the UK because in less than a year, I guess, after you started your channel, it exploded so much that Google invited you to go over to the UK to cover the Olympics for them.
Yeah.
So how long were you in London?
I was in London for 3 weeks.
I'm so sorry.
I love London.
Yeah?
We have opposite tastes in life.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, frothing at the gosh. LA, it's delightful. And I'm like, London, 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 London.
It's not as good as your Canada song. Canada.
Canada.
I may or may not have watched that video about 1,000 times.
Like jaunting.
So have you ever, while recording a video, just got so drunk that everything was unusable? Or do you just keep going, just keep putting it
I
up?
record for about an hour and a half, and I only show 5 minutes. Do the math. Yeah, no, a lot of it's shit. I'm editing an episode for this week right now that's 2 hours long, and I'm like, oh my god.
It's a lot of
Well,
work.
I mean, you got to get drunk, so I mean,
It takes a while,
It
yeah.
takes a while.
It does take a while. I pause and wait for the alcohol to process through my body. People are like, why do you do My Drunk Get You weekly? Why do you do My Drunk this, My Drunk that? And I'm like, because I don't want to die.
I'm an alcoholic.
I love to be alive.
yeah,
You know?
your liver determines the frequency of episodes.
You need a spin-off series, My Hungover Kitchen or something like that.
New spin-off series, My Rehab Life.
every other day. My favorite one is the MRE one where you're in your garden.
Oh,
Reminds
you
me
like
of,
that one?
I love that one. Yeah.
I like the hurricane one.
Yeah,
Where
Hurricane.
you
You
open-
like the off
The off ones.
Yeah.
She there's a hurricane and she's has a thing of baked beans
Yep.
and a bottle of wine.
Yep.
And it's like pouring rain and she's in like a poncho.
Yep.
Oh, so
when-
during a
it
hurricane,
was
she's
when
not
that
drinking a hurricane.
Hit,
Outside.
it was when that hurricane hit DC. What was that? Irene? No, what was that?
I don't know actually.
That wasn't Irene.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But
Did
yeah.
you drink a hurricane during your hurricane episode?
No, we really didn't have. We were worried about the power going off, so I just grabbed a bottle of wine and a can of beans and went outside. And I'm wearing a poncho, and it's like, and I'm like, when you're in a hurricane, you're in a hurry, Kane. Will you marry me, Barbara? You want to marry a little?
You guys are
Everything
perfect
about
for
you.
each other. With your, you guys love the bad puns.
I love
Yeah.
it.
You know, it's crazy though, because her story's a lot like yours, Gav, because you started your channel almost by accident in a way too. Because you started Slow Mo Guys to get a visa.
Yeah. Well, I'd already put slow-mo stuff on the internet before. Yeah, it was just it worked.
How?
I have a visa.
You're just like, I need a visa, and it's like the 01 visa, which is like artist of special.
Yeah, I didn't. I
talent.
didn't get a degree,
Right.
so
Basically, he's
because I'm an
uneducated.
idiot, and I didn't qualify for any visa to work in this country. So I had to. The one I could go for was an 01 visa, which is like a celebrity visa. It's what like actors go to get in movies and
Wait,
stuff.
can I get something in the UK? I would rather live in London.
Or just we'll get married.
Yeah, but you're.
And green card.
I just
Does it work for
proposed
the
to
UK?
Barbara. Jesus.
Yeah,
What?
dude, I already shotgun. Like,
All right, I get seconds.
Yeah, but then she gets Canadian citizenship out of you,
Canadian?
Barbara.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I want it all. I want it all.
But yeah, I
Way
didn't.
across the map.
I didn't qualify for this visa, so I had well, I work with high-speed cameras, and they're kind of rare. So I thought, well, nobody has one of these, and no one's doing YouTube videos with these. So I just started and hoped I would get one own, and I did, and it worked. It took 2 years,
And
but
now,
I
like,
did
all
it.
of his videos have over like 1 or 2 million views each. One
Yeah,
has
his
20
videos on
million
average
views.
do more than our videos that we put out. That-
Wow.
just for fun.
But
you
it's
know.
almost just great. I mean,
Well, yeah, I can point that thing at anything, and it just looks
Yeah.
it looks great. It either looks great or disgusting,
Yeah.
depending on what I aim at.
yeah.
There may or may not be a video on his phone that falls into the disgusting category.
There is one of those. You are right. I actually showed it to iJustine last night, and
What
I
is
apologized
it?
today. I said, "I'm sorry for what you can't unsee."
This is a video left on the camera that you were using for someone else, right?
Oh,
It may or may not be a sexual act of the male genitalia.
Or it may be. I mean, it just might be.
No way.
That someone has
See,
seen in slow motion.
you're horrified. I'm looking at your face. You're horrified, but deep
So
down,
excited.
you
Show it to her and see how
absolutely
horrified
want to
she
see
can get.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
Do you want to see it?
Duh.
Wait till you find out that
Live-
it's Gavin.
a
Then
live
it's really
watching.
disgusting.
Big duh.
I'm convinced that
Is
it is
it
Gavin.
Well, no, I'm not black, so
Gavin.
couldn't be me.
Not the parts we see. You never know.
What remains to be seen.
You are surprisingly tan for a white guy.
It is true, but I'm actually Italian.
Hannah, I'm going to say one thing, though. I think one of the reasons you like London so much is you were there during the Olympics. It's easy to be biased.
I've been there 3 times.
Oh, have you?
I love British people.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, he's gonna show it. Here it is.
What were your thoughts? We got to keep the
This
audio
will
going.
not be in the link dump, just so you know.
It'll be in the link spunk.
Hannah's taking my phone now.
She-
Her mouth
is open.
is
looks disgusting.
You should shut your mouth and watch it. Just in case.
No, it can't be real. No, I don't
that's
know.
real.
It can't be real.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wish that hadn't happened now, Gavin. You spoiled
And
our-
it is annoying that you can't unsee something, isn't it? Because that's in your
never
brain.
get that in
Imagine
my-
trying to forget that. You can't.
It's yours forever.
Hold on.
There you go.
No, you're right.
No, yeah, it's in
It's
there.
still there.
Still wait.
Are
The
you-
more I think
are you
about
replaying
the
it?
more I see it.
I gotta admit, like that topic and the Olympic topic, it reminds me of all the condoms they bought for the Olympians.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the sex village.
Are you a little intimidated by
Wasn't
that,
it like
that incredible
20,000?
sex village that they had?
I wanted to go so bad because I figured that I would be like, hey guys, I know you're all like super fit with like no, body fat whatsoever, but maybe this squishy form's a little bit of a novelty, right?
Just throw me in the mix.
Built for comfort, not for speed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm not 90% muscle. What up?
I'm not 90% muscle.
Yeah, what do you think is like the penultimate like best looking athlete? Like, what sport makes the best looking athlete?
Hockey.
Gymnastics.
Oh shit! Really? Is that the
I'm
Canadian answer?
I'm a little biased.
You say
Gymnasts
gymnastics?
have messed up hands. They're
Oh,
like
really?
callousy.
Gymnasts are too. I don't know. It's almost too lean.
Okay, what about diving?
I like the gymnasts that work with the ball and the ribbon. I don't
Yeah,
know
you
what
do.
that is exactly. So
And you know what? I don't understand. Okay, so when they do the floor routine, the men do tumbling, and it's just like tumble, 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 stop, move position, tumble, 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 stop. Why do the women, when they're doing their floor routine, have to be like, meow, meow, kind of gesticulates in an artistic fashion?
you want to get your Olympic commentating on that?
Meow, meow. You know what I mean? They're like, what's the point? They're just doing shitty dancing in between, like being like, and they stop and they're like, backflip ninja kick, splits in the air, boom. You know what I mean?
I know it's true. They have to like play it up almost a little more and look fancy.
Yeah.
Where the guys are just like, "What's up?"
Did they do that thing with the ribbon, or is that just something they make fun of in
They
Yeah,
media?
that's
did.
rhythmic gymnastics.
Rhythmic.
Mm-hmm.
Ribbon-mic.
Rhythm.
There's a lot of stuff that you just don't hear about for whatever reason. Like we were talking about
'Cause it's not
netball.
that
Do you know what
impressive.
netball is?
No.
It's apparently they play it in the UK.
It's a sport.
It's like, it's basketball. It's basketball without the moving.
You can't move when you have the ball.
You can't dribble.
So it's like
You can pivot
ultimate
on-
Ultimate
frisbee.
frisbee. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like ultimate frisbee.
Gotcha.
Which is another
Do you-
sport.
Do you guys have ultimate frisbee?
Yes.
I've only heard of
I
it because
actually used to
Caleb
play
talks
it in
about
high
it
school.
I
constantly.
love ultimate frisbee.
It's fun.
There's a guy who runs our Achievement Hunter community sites, and he's a diehard, lifelong ultimate frisbee guy.
Yeah.
Caleb.
As well, he should.
He's
But
really
you
into
know
it, though.
he's intense because he just calls it ultimate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
even use the frisbee.
Oh yeah.
That's
Well,
the
actually,
game.
they
would
can't
just
say
dumb it
ultimate
down.
frisbee because frisbee is like copyrighted.
Is that
Oh,
what it
you're
is?
right. It's
Yeah.
like Kleenex.
And then what the frisbee lobby would sue them, basically?
But like, he's so serious about it. He drove to Dallas recently to play a game of Ultimate.
He's
It's a
he's
real
like,
sport.
Yeah.
like in the national
Ultimate.
champs league.
But is that an attractive sport? Like, obviously, like a guy who plays football. It's like, oh, he plays football. I'm talking about American football, not soccer.
Yeah, like
America.
real football.
But a guy who's really good at Ultimate.
Nice, thank you.
Do Canadians have American football?
We call it football,
No, they have Canadian football.
Canadian football, it's
which
different.
is terrible.
Do you
No,
guys,
it's not bad.
They
it's
play
not
in a
bad.
you guys
gigantic
play with a
field.
log instead of a ball.
They throw a
Beaver,
beaver.
actually.
Did you hear about Beaver? Did you hear about the Canada losing all that maple syrup?
What?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Canada is in charge of the world's maple syrup supply.
Obviously,
Not-
yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And they lost like 30 million tons of maple syrup somehow.
Like a heist or something?
Yeah, where to go?
What-
Is this like Breaking Bad episode
This
when
is
they
all
steal
real.
that?
What do you mean lost?
Yeah.
Lost.
The article was hilarious because the guy was talking in a very like Canadian way about it. About it.
About it?
He was like, "Oh yeah, no."
Oh, you just can't find it.
What can you do?
30 million
Sorry
tons,
about
30
all that
gallons. How
maple
much was
syrup.
gone?
Well, don't ask me for.
Listen,
facts or
this is our
numbers.
podcast. You do not have to be accurate. You
Okay,
just have to
good.
work from memory.
Great. So, according to my stellar memory, that's not at all slowly waning. 30 million gallons of maple syrup.
Sounds
Jillian
right.
Jillian
Birds or burper? Sure.
Burpers.
So, Barbara, what does that mean to the culture of Canada now that there's no more maple
I'm
syrup?
never going back home, that's for sure. Not show my face there.
You know, all the articles I read online started with the same thing. Oh, Canada. Zing,
You
zing.
silly guys.
Zing, zing.
So, do you feel like living in Canada? Do you feel like America's little brother sometimes?
No.
America's
No.
top hat?
Well, you're our underwear.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
Twink.
Have you made the transition yet? Now that you're here on a visa yourself, have you made the transition to full American yet?
No, I don't think so. Only because I don't think I'll ever be that dramatic in life. I feel like
Oh,
American.
Ooh, that's a dig.
Well, here we go.
That's a dig at the old
No, let it
Americans.
fly. Let's hear what you got.
They're very dramatic. People in Canada.
What do you mean dramatic?
What do you mean
I will
dramatic?
kill you with my gun that I bought
Look
at
at
the
you
liquor
say
store.
this About me.
Yeah, Hannah and I are about to go do a drive-by.
I don't know. It's honestly Canada and America are very similar. I don't notice much of a difference except when I was at Fan Expo. I noticed a lot of A's and abouts.
A's and
I thought you said
It was
A's.
so great.
More
It's
so
the
than
abouts.
and like Jordan couldn't stop giggling to himself whenever someone would
Every
be like,
time.
"Oh, you got all those shirts on sale, eh?" And
Well,
he
it's
would just be like,
Every time I just
It
look
is-
at Barbara and be
funny?
like, these guys are Canadian.
Hey guys, we're in Canada. Andrew Huang from Songs to Wear Pants To. You guys know him?
Yeah.
He did the Show Me Where Your Mom's At song with me.
That's a great song.
Thanks.
By the way, Gavin might have fallen just a little bit in love with you when you performed that at VidCon.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little bit.
And I dropped all them beats.
I was, I was telling you last night, but I was just like my mouth
So tell me
went
again.
open and
Yeah.
saliva. But I looked at Bernie and we
He
were
was
just like,
like-
what?
He was ready for action when he saw that.
Yay! I'm glad. That was really fun. Anyway, so it's funny because he like seems like, oh, he's so cool and so hip and so rad, and then he'll be like, he's having a rough day, eh? And I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
you're Canadian.
Day, eh?
Bam.
Bam.
That is.
Here, let me hand you up to the engineer. Sorry, that's Shira on the phone. She's going to be joining us shortly.
Sorry.
So, Gavin, have you been taking your Onnit pills that are sponsoring us?
I have.
Talk about your
There's
What's that?
actually
Yeah, right.
there's a video that just went up last week where I took a pill for the first time.
and then
We-
did what was on your phone.
Gavin was 24 years old, had never taken a pill in his life before.
Yeah, we talked about this on an earlier podcast, but I took one for the first time, and then Jack tickled my throat, and it popped out, and it was I
Well,
I
now
don't.
he'll never swallow a pill again.
I actually did manage to get one
He was
down.
able to do it.
I sort of.
It's pretty traumatizing.
You
Squelched
did
it
it
down.
fairly easily, though.
I'm amazed at people who take pills all the time. They don't even need water. They could just be like, "Bosh," and just
I
swallow
mean,
big
I can do
lumps.
that.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
do that too.
I can totally do it.
I have to
I
really
know
like.
that's like a.
Good thing to brag about.
I know.
I have to get into a certain.
could swallow
I have to get into a mental state where I shut my eyes and I try and relax all of my muscles and I like tease it
It's all
down
in
with
your
my
head,
tongue.
though, you know?
Tease it.
Like,
Tease
you
it.
Swallow,
Tease it.
like, I mean, you'd be
How
terrible.
big?
Go on.
What is the biggest thing you've swallowed?
Go on.
My pride right now. Hey-o. yeah. Let's go back to Austin, guys.
Do it.
Hannah was in a great video in Austin that was kind of inspired by you, Gav, where I dared her and Grace, or I shouldn't say dared because I paid for it. I bet you guys
How much do you bet?
$100
a piece.
a piece.
A
Nice.
piece, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I did,
cash
but then I
money?
paid for everybody's dinner with it. I'm that girl.
We had these. They gave us for free because they liked you so much. They gave us free Drunken Donuts,
Yep.
which were fresh made donuts
Yep.
with these chocolate
Oh, at the
and
W.
caramel
Like
liquor
dips?
dipping sauces.
Oh my god.
When Hannah turns around with the mustache on, that's probably the greatest moment. Of
I
all
agree.
time.
I wish I,
agree.
could turn around with a mustache on right now.
What was the thing I saw? There was a still of you online where you had a mustache. Was that for a video?
Yeah. I shot My Drunk Kitchen silent film recently,
Nice.
and so I woke. You know how it worked? I woke up and I was like, "Fuck, it's Thursday. Fuck, I'm not done editing that other kitchen. Oh, I'll make a silent film." And from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I shot and edited and recorded this thing, and I slapped it up on the internet. Shira Lizard.
Hey, Sharon Leonard, how you doing?
Good morning, sweaty.
That mic just heard a hug.
This is
That was the sound of hugs.
two hands.
So Shira's going to join us in just a moment here. But real quick, before you leave us,
Yeah.
what are you up to now? What are you doing coming up?
Oh my god, just so many things fly into my head. Right now, the Green Brothers and I are working on My Drunk Kitchen Season 1, the DVD, which is going to
That's cool.
Make it a DVD.
Yeah, making a DVD, and
Dude.
it's going to come with a special T-shirt, and I'll sign like the first 100 copies or whatever. And then also, each episode will feature director's commentary.
That is amazing.
I'm going to be playing the episodes. I'll be like, what you can see here is the example of the human existential. You know? It's going to be amazing.
You should do it like the directors do when they're really proud and like talking so seriously about
Yeah.
the
I think
episode.
that's what I just
I think that's
Yeah.
what you just said.
Yeah.
You should do what you just said you were going to do. So how do you shoot the show though? Like, what's the camera that you use?
Well, in the beginning, God created no. In the beginning, I shot with a laptop web camera.
Wow.
That was on the front of my laptop, and then after that, a year or so later, I shot with the Canon 60D, which is what I'm on now.
Is that the one with the screen that you can see what you're doing? Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like, I feel like shooting on the laptop is so much. I don't know. It's a weird. I don't know. Now I'm gonna get into like the science of YouTube, but like I feel like there's a type of people that appreciate like web comedy or like web stuff like that that's done through really like low production, lo-fi stuff. And then if it gets too high in production, people actually start to fall off the top. They're just like, no, I can tell you're trying too hard now. Blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, well there's always those people out in the world, but yeah.
I
But
think they call them haters.
no, but it's just amazing that you could start this show and start this empire off with a webcam on a laptop.
Yeah,
It's just nuts.
I feel very, very blessed and so happy because, I'm getting a little choked up. I get to like meet all these different people who I
She's
never,
touching
ever-
Barbara while she
Yeah.
says this.
Also touching Shira. Also touching Shira. I would touch everyone in the room. That's all anyone needs to know about Hannah Hart.
I'm done.
Well,
Thanks for
Hannah,
ruining my beautiful moment.
we love you. Thank you for joining us. How do we get you
Yay.
down to Austin as soon as possible?
Yes.
You should do a night at the Alamo.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, they do. They show Breaking Bad there. That's what I was going to tell you when we started off talking about the Alamo.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when season 5.5 or whatever
5.5.
starts up, come down to Austin, do a night at the Alamo, and then we'll go see Breaking Bad.
I love it. I
Okay, son.
absolutely love it. Thank you guys for having me.
Hannah Hart, everybody.
I love you. Love.
Okay, we're going to take a real quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be joined by Shira Lazar, who is the host of What's Trending. Be right back. All right, everybody, we're back, and we are back once again without adult supervision. We do not have Gus Sorolla with us this week. You know what? This should be the week that we talk shit about Gus, because he's not here.
Should have been.
Do we have
Gus-
anything negative to say about Gus?
I don't.
Gus?
Gus is lovely.
I love
Yeah,
Gus.
you would
This
say
is a
that.
great boss.
Gus is the one who approves all of Jordan's invoices for the RTAA. So you would say that. Barbara, anything negative to say about Gus?
No.
I'll go. So Gus is a fucking idiot. The other day I went to go get him out of the house, like to go see Breaking Bad with us at the Alamo.
Yeah.
And he literally told me, when I asked him to go, he goes, I would go, but I don't think I could handle the crowds. Like, that's where he is now. He can't handle going out in public
We
around
went
other
out
people.
recently to drink, and he was like, "Let's go inside. There's no one in there." Like, we were outside sitting on the balcony of this bar, and there was just like a couple tables of people, but he couldn't take it.
Do we need to have an intervention for Gus?
OCD.
Are
Does
we-
he have OCD?
He just doesn't like people. Yeah. Which is a great a great trait for a guy who works on the internet.
Totally.
is to not like people. All right, well, the new sultry voice that you're hearing, she says her morning voice, but the sultry voice you're hearing is Miss Shira Lazar. The Emmy-nominated Shira Lazar, I say. So, Shira, you were nominated for an Emmy, your show, What's Trending.
Is in the digital interactive
Don't
category.
qualify it.
Primetime Emmy. Yeah, I know. You just say Primetime Emmy. Yeah, it was really cool. It's the first time that category is around. So it used to be, a lot of the digital properties from big networks for like marketing. Pretty much it ends up being from marketing dollars.
Right. ESPN seems to be one that gets a lot of those nominations or has in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything from I actually kind of was part of another winning Emmy with our Oscars interactive experience. So the other year, I think it was last year, we won for the Oscars interactive, the second screen experience. The thing is, it's hard for, in terms of judging originals versus interactive second screen experiences where networks are putting huge amounts of money. It's like you can't really judge them the same. And so I think they changed the categories for the content that was based on, something that's on network TV that's original to online versus something that is completely original to online. So we now fall into that category, and that's going to open it up to so many other people instead of competing against like the Jimmy Fallon online experience.
Right, yeah.
Like, how do you compete against that, right? Like a show that has a huge TV audience that they're just like throwing online for something else.
It's weird because that's what we deal with on our podcast, because our podcast is a place where we compete with more mainstream media.
Yeah.
And we always talk about, like on iTunes last week, we were number 4, but we're always like battling NPR, which is, we always make the joke of, are we paying taxes? get them out of our
So
way.
that's amazing for you, the fact that, and it says a lot about what you guys do, that you can go up in numbers against something like NPR, which probably they probably put a lot more resources and money. They don't have a ton of
Right.
resources, but there's something more there you could say.
Right. Well, plus we'll talk shit about NPR all day.
No, I love NPR.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, NPR is great. It's very informative.
Okay.
Yeah. Notice we're not going to talk shit about like Joe Rogan, because we might actually run into Joe Rogan. He's
Joe,
gonna
I've
beat
tried
the,
getting
he's gonna
him
beat
on,
the shit
yeah.
out of us.
Joe's in the space. He is online a lot now.
Yeah.
So yes, it's exciting, and we're I think nominated against a USA Today project. I don't even know. Honestly,
Fuck
the
USA.
two other.
Yeah, right.
Not USA Today, or USA Networks or something.
Fuck US.
She's Canadian. You guys are both from Montreal, by the
No
way.
way.
You're from Montreal?
Yes.
See how I sat on this fact
Really?
until we got
Now
here?
we've bonded even more.
I know. Man, I was
In
like,
Montreal.
the ladies love me. Côte St. Luc?
Oh my god. I've been told I shouldn't be saying "Oh my god." By the way,
Really? Who
Why
told you
not?
this?
what my producer?
Oh my god.
No, but
What, you
they
gonna say
won because
golly
he
gosh?
said people
Oh my gosh.
Good
people
Lord.
might be insulted And then it does sound a bit of valley. Oh my god!
Well, I get the valley thing.
We talk about frothing at the gash on this podcast.
What do you say? You go, oh my, or wow, awesome.
You just sound like an Archie comic when you do that.
pop up.
So, Barbara,
Kids.
with all this female attention, have you ever considered drinking from the furry cup?
All right.
Okay, Gavin.
How come your euphemisms are worse than the actual saying the act?
Furry cup?
They are known as
What
dysphemisms.
does that mean?
Barbara, you do attract a lot of female attention.
Yeah.
It is true.
But this is something I've discovered about every woman I've ever spoken
They're
to.
jealous.
If a woman had a clone of herself, they would make out and they would want to
Well, yeah.
freak out
I
with
I
themselves.
wouldn't want to make out with myself.
Why?
Oh.
Would you? Barbara, you're saying you
I
would?
was going on about how I totally would.
I don't know. I guess I'd be interested in like it's be more of like interested in seeing what I am like, not because I'm like attracted to myself.
Listen, I got a soft mouth, so I would want to kiss that.
Is that what they tell you?
So, Barbara, would you want to kiss the female version of yourself or a male version of you?
Doesn't matter.
That would be
Well,
your
we've
brother,
seen-
though.
We've seen the male
We've seen the male version of you when
Barbara.
I swapped our faces yesterday.
Oh my god. So Gavin has this app where you take a picture of two people and it swaps the faces out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we
app is
took a
called
photo of
Face
Gavin and
Juggler.
I, which is the thing that nightmares are made of. He looks like the 15-year-old version of himself because he used to have long, straight blonde hair. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
gonna
look
show
like
you
some
right now.
weird Russian something or other.
And we'll
I
put
can
this
show
picture
you.
up in the link dump so you can
Oh
see
my.
it.
Oh my.
Jiminy Johnson.
See, you say it too much.
So, sure, one of the cool things we get to do is for the podcast, it's audio format, but the way MP3s are now, I don't even know the actual digital format we use, but we can embed pictures in it. So if you have like a
cool.
smart device, it actually shows up while we're talking about it.
No way.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So in your show now, you guys just relaunched What's Trending.
We've relaunched Daily Live on YouTube. So we were before across live stream, Ustream, YouTube, iTunes, and we kind of partnered with YouTube to go daily because we are a weekly show and it's hard to really do what's trending and really create a consistency with your audience if you're once a week, which a lot of people are, but we look at ourselves as like a 24/7 platform.
Mhm.
So we knew daily would be coming. It was just a matter of the timing and resources. And so we've already seen, an increase in subscribers and audience just because people know what to expect. More so, also, we were much broader social media before. We were like, what's trending on the internet?
Right.
And people would be like, isn't that really broad? Like, what exactly could it be? Like anything?
Internet.
Well, it's like South by Southwest. They have the interactive
Yeah.
convention, which like
Yeah.
And it
that's
becomes
so
a bit
broad.
of a clusterfuck, right?
Yeah, it's like
what
covering
you mean.
outdoors. It's like it's a lot of stuff.
But it's also because when I came up with the idea, it was like in October of 2009 when everyone, specifically October, by the way, I've told the story and I just realized I'm like October of 2009. And it was when, what's trending on Twitter was just starting to be used, that phrase. And I felt like there needed to be a show instead of just having these blogs and video blogs about these things. Why don't we have a show format around all of this in this culture? But then I think what we realized in producing this the past year was that all these trends or things that rise to the top, even from Reddit, everything kind of comes back to video. And if you have a video show, you're always like, oh, how do we visually explain this? And it was always coming back to YouTube. It was like, okay, well, this is a video on YouTube that's rising as this story is getting bigger because people aren't on the ground taking video of this, or someone got an interview and that went viral because this story is being searched more. And so I think it was a natural step for us to go more, YouTube based and covering then what was trending on YouTube because, trends lead to video. And as broadcasters, it's like we try to explain what we're talking about through visual medium.
It's just crazy how much stuff there is now and how much information is flowing. If you blink, you entirely miss something, where like something can rise and fall on the trending charts before you have time to pay attention to it.
And everyone's like, oh, you haven't heard about so-and-so? And it's like, what?
Yeah, even like when Robert Pattinson and his girlfriend, what's her name, Kristen Stewart, when they broke up,
That
I
was
didn't
like
know.
a huge gossip story.
I didn't even know anything
yeah.
about it though. I found out about it 2 weeks after it happened because I was out of town
so
when it
not
took
in the
place.
loop.
I wasn't.
God.
I wasn't keeping up with my daily.
Bernie is like, he doesn't read any of the gossip
She was,
magazines.
She was diddling the director, wasn't she?
Yeah, the Snow White
Diddling.
movie.
Oh my god.
You'll learn a lot of new terms in this
Hey,
podcast.
all
when
your
Gavin is
people
on
are going
it.
to say, I've now realized, once a day or something, you realize you're using a word a lot that
Yes.
day.
Yep.
And now I've pinpointed what that word is. So now it's just creeping. The oh my God thing. Now I brought it up.
You'll
and
just be more aware of it.
Yeah. Only you will notice it though. Until you point out to the audience what you did, so that they'll know.
Yeah, why
that
don't you
stuff.
count how many times I do it?
Now there's going to be counters and like a graph,
But-
like how many drinks
Drinking
over
game.
time.
But I think, all right, going back though, YouTube explains a lot about our culture and how we share things. A lot comes down to what we're sharing on YouTube these days. It's interesting. And I don't think it's about putting all your eggs in one basket, but we see from Hannah Hart to all these stars to the people that, you know, if there's a big breaking news story, a lot of the videos that come up are from YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, Hannah's a
wanna
crazy
be-
story. Like, she goes from Japanese translator, posts
yeah,
a video
no,
online,
that's-
and within a year, she's a full-time entertainer.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an anomaly. That's like lightning in a bottle. But
It's true.
Those are people that, you know, overnight could have been back in the day discovered or was part of something, and then everyone thought they were hilarious, and then they spun off into their own thing. I think we've seen examples of that in the past, but then now it's just goes so much faster than it did, right? Because you could do it on your own, and then everyone can discover you, and then if you're smart enough, you can create it into something real.
It would be crazy just to get like a documentary or, you know, just a piece with just people just telling those stories of discovery of like just their origin stories in a way, like hearing Hannah talk about it and like Jenna Marbles, you know.
Well,
And-
please subscribe. There's a new documentary this guy Dan Dobie
Uh-huh.
did. Oh, well, yeah, you weren't in town yet for that.
Nope.
It screened actually at YouTube this week, and it's following a few of the stories, like including Hannah. It also has Mitchell Davis, Mr. Guitar Man, and a few others. I mean, he had shot even more people, but for the purposes of the documentary, like how long it needs to be in the story. But it does follow and tell their stories of how they came to be, but in a really interesting way. And then also the pitfalls of keeping up with that, you know, like Dan Brown, where he had all these subscribers and then he did this project and then he saw a drop, and what that was like for him, where he got into a really dark place, and the repercussions of putting yourself out there on this medium and then having all these people loving you, and then overnight sometimes even hating what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, you could kind of look at it as potentially like the new reality TV, in that somebody could get involved with this, become super well known, but not be sustainable, you know, but then they're kind of stuck with that notoriety, but no like real success.
business.
Yeah,
And
no
so,
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I always
that-
thought that would be
yeah.
really hard for reality stars, of like, they walk down the street, everybody knows who they are, and they're like, why am I not more successful? Because everybody knows who I am. But it's just like, they don't get that they're not behind the whole thing. They're out in front.
Tay Zunde says, because on Partners Project, our other show that we continue because we love doing it. It's like inside the actor's studio for YouTube stars.
This is Tay Zunde who did the Chocolate Rain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
Thank you for deepening your
he's
voice.
continued since, and he actually does voices for the MLB.
Really?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
which you would not know because he doesn't talk about it. And so he gets some other voiceover work, and he continues his other YouTube videos. But ultimately, everyone knows him for this one viral video,
Yep.
which is great. I mean, South Park made him into a character, and he gets all his notoriety. But
He did a Dr. Pepper commercial too, as I recall.
yeah, so right after he goes, he said to me, I either could have gone like completely one direction of I'm going to just sell out and take everything that's coming to me, or I'm going to not take advantage of this at all and go the other way. And he's like, I kind of stayed in the middle where I didn't really take as much advantage as I could have. And now he's like, I make a decent living, but I don't make crazy money, you know. And he's like, I'm not like a huge YouTube star. And you could see that trepidation in
Yeah.
his voice about it. And it's interesting when you approach people
Not
about
a huge
what they
YouTube star.
how they perceive their careers based on other people.
Chocolate Rain, by the way,
YouTube.
has 83 million views. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder
That was
what
an
his-
original.
What
Not
was
as
his
much as
voice
Gangnam Style.
like before he hit puberty, do you think?
My God, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
He probably was like a soprano in the church choir. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. A lot of things that we see too, a lot of times we see this, it's happened less and less lately as people have been more successful online. But a big thing was somebody would get successful online, they would get a TV deal, like for a pilot.
Yeah.
They would just abandon their web audience for that. They would go into like an 18-month cycle where they were in that, and they would develop a pilot. And as those things tend to do, they would not go anywhere. And then you'd watch those people try to come back and recapture their web audience and
it's
not be able
really
to do that.
hard. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and so that's why I think more people are wary of taking those deals, because the deal. I mean, right now there's either, I think, big companies that understand that they can't own the artist, and it actually works better for them and it benefits the big company if they let the artists do what they're doing with their online community plus another version of what they're doing or an experience with maybe a TV show or a movie or something. But some people are starting to get it, but it's still hard because ultimately it comes down to ownership and who's getting the money, right? And so it's like, why, if you have all the leverage, why would you just let that go?
Yeah.
Right? For like what, a deal that's probably going to end up ending 6 months after the show or getting canceled,
The crazy thing to me too is like, it's like some of the biggest things on the internet, we talk about ownership. We don't know who made them. They just kind of like rise out of it. But there's some person sitting at a computer somewhere in the world who started the original thing.
Yeah.
Like the first person who made one of those memes or the first rage face, Barb.
Rage faces, yeah.
Yeah, who made that? Who's the guy who drew the troll face?
God? I don't know. Someone really.
It's a gift from God.
Lightning
Yeah.
struck the ground and it was etched onto a
There's
rock.
not much I
Yeah.
like better in the world than rage faces because they convey such perfect emotions. Like I only talk to you
In rage face.
in
That's
rage
it.
faces.
Yeah.
That's
We're
it.
just talking rage
Same
face.
That's a
with
great
all
way
the-
to communicate.
It
too.
All
is.
the internal email in the office as well. Like
Yeah.
everyone will be like serious conversation and Barbara will just chuck in a rage face.
My favorite one was recently. We just had our water on our fridge break, like the little thing that
Oh,
you
yes.
dispense water and ice. And it finally got fixed. And Kara sent out an email saying, "Oh, it's fixed. Like, feel free to drink all the water your body can handle." So I sent back a rage face of like the guy crossing his arms saying, "Challenge accepted."
You go drink a lot of water that day?
I'm gonna drink
You went
all
to
the
the
water
bathroom
my
a lot?
body could handle.
My favorite is whenever an email goes about people going places and Barbara's either out of town or she's working late and she can't go. She just sends the okay face. Okay. Like, have fun,
Do you
guys.
reply with faces?
Forever
Pictures?
alone.
All
That's
the
it.
time.
That's how she communicates.
Like,
know-
we had
Yeah.
a Labor Day barbecue, and Bernie was like, "We're gonna have so much fun. Bring your friends. We're gonna have beer and all this food." And I was still out of town, and I was like, "Okay." Okay,
Actually, I did that once with my boyfriend. I was so mad.
sorry guys.
Oh, I know.
I
there it
should've
is. She
mentioned
dropped the
that.
boyfriend.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Barbara.
Or with my ex-boyfriend. With my ex-boyfriend.
My friend who's a boy.
Well, anyway,
My
speaking of
masculine
visuals,
female friend.
we got in a huge fight, and I was like crying.
Go on.
And this is it. And I sent a picture of my face after crying, and it looked probably really horrible and sad. And
You did
so depressing.
You did that, really?
You should have
and
rubbed
I
it in.
go, "This is what
Yeah,
you did."
look what you
And then
did.
I think he felt more bad than me being like, "I'm crying right now," or like I'm really pissed off.
Right.
And then I think seeing that really created an effect.
Yeah.
It's all about the faces.
Yeah, she's right.
It's an interesting
should
tactic.
be in
This
your
is
rage
an
face.
awkward moment.
Yeah, it's like, then she also said, "I'm going to tell the cops you did this to me." That-
Now
she let
I'll
that-
document this moment.
I would never take a photo like that and send it to a potentially ex, right? You're really taking
Yeah.
a risk by doing that. Because like, okay, Facebook.
Your naked reflection
I
is
have
also
no,
in the
yeah.
background.
This is awkward.
But I want to know, like, who made the thing we've discovered this week. Shira has a segment on her show where she shows the top 5 trending videos at the moment.
Yeah.
And we have discovered one that I've known about for years, and Garrett, who was with us this weekend from Mega 64, he knew about for years, which is you have it on your phone? The interior crocodile alligator.
I knew nothing
What?
about
What
this.
is that?
It's just it's a loop song.
Alligator.
And we've been playing this nonstop while we've been here.
We hooked up the Bluetooth from Gavin's phone to the rental car that Bernie had and
It,
blasted
and it just loops forever. We
Mhm.
just-
Are you ready for it? Oh, that's not it.
No, that was my...
Whoa.
Everybody's popping their heads to this.
That's a good beat. So what is that? It's a video. It's from a video.
And it's just an
It was put
alligator
over some
walking.
documentary footage of an
I
alligator.
literally know
And it's like just like
nothing
plomping
about
around.
That was like that's so old on the internet. That's like goes back to like E-Bombs
really?
World, and and then somebody uploaded it to YouTube and got a couple million views for being
Yeah.
the person who uploaded
Was it
it.
just recently?
They just discovered it recently. I've known about it for
the,
years.
the video is 2008.
Yeah.
That's like Know Your Meme is really fun because usually you can, if you really want to, you can track these things back.
Mhm.
If you really want to.
You know what's one of the crazy ones is those demotivational posters that are everywhere on the internet where instead of like showing the eagle and saying success soar on the wings of eagles,
Yeah.
it has like a ship sinking and it says failure. Your life is to serve as an example to others. Like those demotivational posters with the black border and the saying, those are everywhere online. I actually know the guy who made that. and I know the guy who he sells posters. He runs a company called Despair.com. That's actually the company that ships all of the Rooster Teeth products and merchandise.
Oh, really?
Because they sold so many of the damn posters, they spun off the shipping company into a totally separate company. And to me, it's really interesting because I know somebody where something that everyone thinks is just kind of like public domain or that kind of rose out of the collective psychological environment of the internet. I actually know the guy who made it and who owns that and sells those things to this day.
You
Sells
used
a
to
ton
have
of
one
them.
in the office where it said, "Get back to work. You're not paid to believe in the power of your dreams." Or something.
Right, you're not being paid to believe in the power of your dreams.
What does he think about that? Like, people using what he started and maybe him not making money from that?
You know
or
what? He's a really
something
smart
like
guy. He just found a way to kind of bank on that. And what he did is he made a system where people can come and custom make their own with their own photos and their own sayings, and then it just prints them on demand.
that? That's like the Keep Calm whole
Yeah.
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's like done their own version of that, right?
You're British. Do you even know like that as a saying? Because that's the British
Of course
slogan.
not. That's history.
It was from the war, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the war.
That wall.
What war is it from,
Your
Gavin?
family who are soldiers in the war.
Was that your impression?
Sounds like Downton
I
Abbey.
do a really good impression of you, Gavin.
Go on then. Give it some.
Whoa! You're already laughing. What if your legs didn't know they were legs?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
There's two Gavins in
I
here.
always wish I had a British accent.
No, you don't.
So now that we've actually posed a question as Gavin, can we get to the science portion of the podcast and
Yes.
piss off most of our audience right
Do
now?
you have a topic in mind that you want to?
I have something I want to ask because this has come up recently with the Curiosity lander on Mars and all that. I know the space shuttle program is mothballed at this point in time, but here's what I want to know. So where does the space shuttle take off from?
Florida.
Right, Florida. It takes off in Florida. And where is mission control?
Houston.
Right, it's in Houston. And where does the space shuttle land?
California.
Right, it lands at Edwards Air Force Base in California. Why? Why is
Pasadena?
why is all
that
that
at the JBL or something?
Why is it 3 different
JBL.
locations?
why is it split up all across the country? Why don't they take off?
I know it seems a bit counterproductive.
It does.
Like a lot of money that's used.
NASA's like
for no
investing in real
reason.
estate.
So
all
then
over
they
the
have
place.
to,
Yeah,
they have to-
maybe.
They have to take the
Taxes.
shuttle then,
Yeah, they put the shuttle on a plane.
and then fly it back.
Maybe Florida was like, this makes a lot of noise taking off. We don't want this shit landing here also. It's just too much.
I think it's so the astronauts can feel like they're actually traveling. Because if they landed back in the same place, they're like, what the fuck?
It makes it into a bigger deal when you need to be at multiple places. Like, okay, we start in Florida, then we go to Pasadena in California.
Maybe it's just where it came down the first time, and they're like, well, that works. Let's do that all the time.
Let's not ruin our luck, right?
They're just
They're
really
very
superstitious.
They have to land on America, and they just made it.
You know what's really scary is in having this conversation with people, we talked about it a little bit this weekend, how many people think that the space shuttle lands in the ocean. That they just sink the goddamn thing into the ocean. It's like, let's build another space shuttle. That one sank.
Why is that? That's because it happens in movies or something?
I think the
It's
capsules.
because the
original
capsules
capsules,
landed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think the Apollo missions, they landed into the
Right.
ocean.
I'd be annoyed if I made it all the way through space and back, and then drowned in the ocean.
That would be pretty bad.
It's like it'd be like surviving a plane crash, but being trampled to death.
There was a space shuttle that took off. I want to say maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe even more. That like blew up in takeoff.
Right.
So like,
Barbara, are you talking about this
That
like this
was-
is not a known thing?
that
This is like
No, I know.
one of the biggest.
That was,
there
American
was a
history.
teacher
I'm
on
just
that.
saying, like,
Remember there was a teacher on that.
How old are you?
I was very young. Anyways, I'm just saying.
I heard one
you know,
time there
like,
was this
the
president who got shot.
Listen, I'm telling you.
I should just let you keep going. So tell us more about the space shuttle 7 years ago that blew off on
I don't
blew up
actually
on
know how
takeoff.
many years ago. I'm just saying it's really sad that it's like you spent all this year training to be an astronaut.
Do you know the
It was the
name?
Challenger.
Oh, okay, I was going to ask you.
That wasn't 7 years
She got
ago. That
prompted
was-
by our
That was
hidden guest.
I may or may not have been helped on that.
You didn't know the Challenger.
I did know the Challenger. I knew
Wow.
what happened and.
This is why her and I are on this couch.
Yeah.
That
We'll
was
just
actually I
giggle
think
and flip our hair.
I think that was 1987. Barbara is when that happened.
No.
You're thinking of Columbia, which
You think Columbia, which on re-entry, that one burned up
Yeah.
on re-entry.
That
There's
one.
two.
Yes,
We've lost
I'm
two.
thinking about that one.
Yeah.
I remember like hearing about that and being like,
It
oh,
is scary.
you went all the way to
because-
space. and
Yeah,
came
I
back.
feel like we're still figuring stuff out, even though we know everything about what works and what doesn't, right? Like now with all these celebrities that are going to space with Richard Branson, but I think they're going just to the The tip.
It's not really
It's
space. It's like the-
space.
The space
Yeah.
tip.
Space tip.
The
Is that like
Freeman,
space porn?
They just go to the sp. That's it.
the
They
space
stop.
coast.
Yeah, I think they go into a really high orbit, like way up in the atmosphere, where it's like the atmosphere. You can see the curvature of the Earth.
But you can't see
And
the
then-
whole Earth.
It's not like you're hanging.
You
out
can
there
never
for
see
a
the
week.
whole Earth.
Why not?
With the front and the back at the same time.
No, you don't.
You mean you just see the entire roundness of the
Yeah,
Earth?
full roundness.
I think you got to get pretty far away to see that. I'm not even sure they see that on the space station.
I want them to drop a camera from orbit,
Go ahead.
facing the Earth, and film it all the way down, and like have that in a movie. But
I think they do
like-
that on Google Earth, don't they? You can just like zoom in.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
just bring a
That's what
camera
that would
up
look
They've
and
done
drop it.
that. There's been like kids that have with balloons or something. They like did it by themselves.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, with
It's like
their
a
cell
Lego man, right?
phones.
Oh.
They brought them up.
They
Yeah, you
use,
can
I think,
do
a
that.
GPS,
Yeah.
a camera on a timer, and a
Yeah.
weather balloon,
Yeah.
And a hot dog.
and a hot dog, right, and a helicopter.
to press the button.
And they just fill the weather balloon up, and it goes up until it like the pressure expands it so much that it pops and then it falls back to Earth. And they
Then
find
it
the
fell
camera.
back towards close to them, which is also I find-
Yeah, it seems weird, right?
yeah.
How does it
Yeah,
come
how
back
does that
anywhere
work?
new?
I have no idea. Maybe it just went straight up and straight down, but I can't imagine.
I usually
that.
falls within like 10 or 15 miles. You
Do you
know,
ever hear those stories about those giant balloons and like a kid would like walk into them and get caught and then they all take off and the kid floats away?
no.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What?
I swear there was a story about some like military thing. There was balloons everywhere and this little girl like walked up and got her leg stuck in it and
What?
she just flew away.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
So
like-
what I'm hearing here is that the British military uses balloons. That's what I'm hearing.
So you're told as a kid.
It's
Time
like-
for a balloon strike.
Is there such thing as a military balloon?
Keep calm and keep inflating. That's the new slogan. So, no, military balloon. I mean, there's like blimps. I'm sure they use balloons in some capacity in the military.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she just like went up in the air,
So there's a balloon.
Have you heard
but
from
she
it
went
yet?
too high and she didn't make it.
You got to describe. You got to
I think
describe.
so because it was really cold.
You got to describe this to me.
Less
She
air.
walked into what? She just walked nearby and the balloon
Like,
grabbed her.
it's one of those
Balloon,
traps.
like you walk in a balloon.
Like hooked onto her.
It's like Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips. She's like, when he goes in that balloon, I've seen him perform.
You know what I think you're confusing it with? I think you're confusing it with the hoax where the guy built the weather balloon thing
balloon boy?
in his backyard, right? Then it went up in the air and they said their kid was in it.
Oh,
To
that
get-
was messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
and the parents lied. And they had
A
like,
reality show for national attention.
yep.
Wow.
I think they might have done jail time for that.
You were messed
Yes,
up.
they
yeah,
did.
because it cost the state money to
Search and
get all
rescue.
the-
Yeah, and they had to like shut down the airports.
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure out like, how do we get this balloon down without like shooting it out of the sky and getting the kid to drop
Right.
10,000 feet or whatever? I think that's what you might be thinking about. I never heard of the military lifting
Kevin
it.
just Googled
BBC
girl
News.
taken by balloon.
Girl swept away by balloon. Hold on. It's probably a really not funny. Yeah,
We'll
it's kind of
laugh
grim.
anyway.
Her body was found 2 hours later near the balloon, 40 miles away.
What happened to her?
Oh.
that's
God.
This is.
With
they're sure it
the
was-
morbid portion of the podcast, everyone.
yeah.
A British 5-year-old girl has been killed after being swept away by a helium balloon in Germany.
A military helium balloon? Wait, was she
Oh,
British?
look, it was about
she's-
to be used for fun rides at a British military show.
okay, that's a little different.
Yeah.
So it's a fun ride.
It wasn't
at a
an
military
armed
show.
balloon.
And she got, what does it mean she got swept away? That's not how you just, a balloon doesn't sweep anything.
Yeah, like did it like come and attack her and like hook
She's-
onto her and then just?
Oh yeah, I guess it was a ride and it blew away.
The
Wow.
ride blew away.
Like it was some balloon thing where like kids were being
How old
taken
was
in the
she?
air and the rope snapped and she went off. 5.
Oh,
Five?
that is messed
I've
up.
never
Yeah.
heard of this ride ever. I've never
Like
been to
a
a carnival where they
chain
said,
got
get
cut.
on the balloon
By yourself.
and float away.
And also, it's a military show. Did no one have a gun to shoot that thing down? Oh, I guess she would hit the deck really hard, actually, wouldn't she?
Probably so. I don't know. It just
One of
seems.
those fucking firemen like trampoline thingies that they catch people on. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Also, you think
I
the
think
military
that's-
shows they're like working with live ammo in front of a crowd? You think it's live fire training at the military show.
Shoot it down with a tank.
They can bust out. They can dive bomb it with like a tank killing plane and shoot her out of the sky. Well, I'm sorry that happened to her, but I don't believe that story in any
So
way.
to sum up, no, we don't know why the space shuttle lands in Florida. I mean, California. And takes
You know what
off.
I would do if I was in charge of
It makes no sense.
the space program and the space shuttle program still existed? I would let them fly up and then I would have them land in Russia and not tell them and just be like, what's America? Like they went through some wormhole and like totally changed reality when they get back to Earth. They'd be like the greatest like sci-fi prank of all time.
And just shoot them. It like becomes like a weird Big Brother reality show.
No, just welcome them back like they're Russians, you know, and ask them why their accent
they're in
has
Russia
changed.
first.
Good job, comrade.
Random prize.
It's like Sound of Thunder. Something changed while you were up there.
So I'm really fascinated at the moment of like behind the scenes pictures of kids' TV
What?
shows. Look,
Scott.
what is this, Bernie? I'm showing you a picture right now.
That's Teletubby.
Yeah, and
just wait.
that's like the size. You know, it's a human, right?
That's human.
They are 10 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
you know that?
No, I didn't. That's
Can I see?
creepy.
That is a picture of Tinky Winky next to a human. They are giant. It's crazy.
And
They
did
actually
you say they get like crazy?
they had to
big
get like
bunnies?
special European 30-pound bunnies that hop around Teletubby Land to make them look smaller.
What?
But they're giant.
The son on that show with like the fucking baby face. The thing of nightmares.
Super creepy.
There's a
Right.
dude in the
Nightmares.
suit. They're absolutely massive.
That looks like Joel from
That's pretty
Firelight.
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? The
my
Wiggles that are from Australia, they make so much money.
Yep. It always seems like if you can do that, if you can start a kids thing and run it for like 4 or 5 years, you're set forever.
Yeah, I mean, I met
like
these
you get
guys.
tenured.
I interviewed them once when I was with CBS when they came on the early show. They're like older guys.
Mhm.
You know, they're jumping around, talking about things. I mean, you never get old, right? And you're making so much money just, you know,
Clowning
getting
around.
kids excited. And,
Yeah, you can never
and
explain
wearing,
like why they take
funny
off.
outfits, and it's a kind of a weird.
They're all like,
I love you, but it's not like a boy band. I love you. It's more just like you're safe, and I want to.
Right.
Wonder how much
Safety's
Yo
a
Gabba
big thing,
Gabba
right?
makes.
You know, the guys, we were talking yesterday on Shira's show when I was on there. We
Oh,
were talking
yeah.
about Texas RB. And we were talking about Homestar Runner, which was one of the early inspirations
Someone
for.
thinks they were trolling the comments, and that's why they asked that.
Oh, did they really?
That
Yeah.
he would ask you that because he didn't know.
Right. And he's like,
Oh, okay.
he was like, hey, when are you going to make more Homestar Runner? Somebody asked that on the show. And I was like, I don't think this person understands what we're talking about. But those guys write for Yo Gabba Gabba now.
Yeah,
They're
and
writing
they do
direct.
the Aquabats Super Show.
Super Show, yeah.
Yeah,
The Aquabat Super Show is hilarious.
But I still miss Homestar Runner.
I know.
And I wish they would make more.
me too.
I wish or they make a final one. That would be cool too. You know? Maybe
They
they're
say they're not gonna. They haven't stopped yet, but they're just.
slow.
I guess they're preoccupied, and they always want to have it to come back to
Sure.
people who are nostalgic like us.
So
Yeah.
on your show yesterday too, we were talking about how we hire people out of the community.
Yeah.
So Jordan here is the person who draws the animated adventures based on our podcast.
That is so cool. And so you just started doing it.
Yeah, I just started it like for fun. I was really inspired by Homestar Runner. And,
Yeah?
like, one summer I was watching a whole lot of Homestar Runner. I was like, I'm gonna make my own cartoon, and so I took something from the podcast and put it up, and everyone liked it, and then it just kept growing.
That's
And
so
now-
good because you make everything so much funnier. Just like
It's true.
it-
Like little
you add
small
so much
details.
humor to it.
Animations
Kind of pause
make
and
things
see.
so much funnier.
Yeah.
It's a funny group of people we have on the podcast in terms of people from the community.
That's true. Gavin and Barbara as well.
We're, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting
You're
point.
outnumbered.
Yeah. Gavin and Barb started listening to the show or watching the show when they were like 15.
I was
Yeah.
14.
14.
Yeah.
Now I'm 24.
Yeah, we've been doing this a long time.
Yeah,
I
that
was,
makes
I was
sense.
13.
And you were in Canada at the
Yeah,
time.
he was in the UK.
And then you all connected. Just you were.
We were just like stalkers. No, I'm just kidding. Groupies.
Groupies. That's
That's what they call.
yeah,
them.
15-year-old groupie.
What's a better name?
And then how did you connect with Bernie and everyone?
We just got really involved in the website and the community side.
Yeah.
and-
She ran one of our biggest fan events in Toronto, or was part of it, which
That
was
is so
RVBTO. And Gavin, he would make funny posts on the site all the time. And I actually visited him when I went over to, remember the speaking engagement I was telling you about, where I went to
Yeah.
Paris
Yeah.
and I had to do 30 minutes presentation on machinima, but because I don't speak French, they gave me a translator. I only had to do 15 minutes and they kept me there for a week. So I went over on the train and met him when he was 17, right?
Yeah, 16.
16, which is the dream, you know. That's why you make an internet show, is to meet underage men in Europe. That's why you do it.
Say.
So yeah, so I went over and met him then, and we just started working together. He actually directed one of the seasons of Red vs. Blue before he started Slow Mo Guys. So
And I was telling Hannah before, I did the Slow Mo Guys just to get the visa to work at Rooster Teeth.
I know how it works.
and it exploded
green
into a
card?
show now that they get more views on average for their videos than we get on anything.
That
So
is so amazing.
It's crazy
I
that
love
it's so
it.
much.
No, I mean that's how things happen. But it is really interesting how all these people that are so young are just starting brands or what they're doing, and then they continue it. And by 25, they're experts, right?
yeah,
It's like that 10,000 hour rule. you can get those 10,000 hours so much more quickly these days, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because people are starting when they're 15. You see, like everyone's like a wonderkind, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Which is basically
Twenty.
the 10,000 hour rule is to be an expert in any craft. You spend 10,000 hours on that craft,
Yeah.
right? And then that's how you
How
hone
long is
something.
10,000 hours?
10,000 hours.
Anyone know math here?
No, God, I don't know. Let's
In
just
terms
call
of,
it. Let's call it 5
days,
years.
I always feel
24. 10,000 divided by 24.
I always feel useless when I
What?
can't work out a really round number like 10,000. Divide that by something.
Malcolm
If I do
Gladwell.
10,000,
Only hours
let's say you
were
work
metric.
60 hours a week on something, that is
416 days.
stop it, you.
But that's 24 hours.
It's 166 weeks.
Or
So
416
60-hour
days.
weeks for about 3 years. That's what we're talking
Which
about.
makes sense now with the YouTubers, right? Or
Man,
with
people,
the, like internet addicts.
you're up every day.
Vlog
You said it's
shows.
6 a.m., right?
I have to be at work now every day at 7
Mhm.
because, well, we have, I know that's the thing is Hannah, she was about to puke in her
I
mouth.
almost just fell asleep hearing the word 7 o'clock.
Well, it's funny because Hannah says, because she, does it with her webcam, and then we have HD cameras
Right.
and a jib.
Yeah, I noticed how
in
like
a
professional.
studio.
It's like the slow pushing on the cameras.
I know,
It's
but we
like,
just try
wow.
to, it's because for us, we want it to be able to be watched on every screen, and
Yeah.
we're thinking of it as like a 360 brand.
And you come from a background of network news, so
I really don't. Everyone thinks I do, but I happen to be at a news network, but it was always digital. Like I was always the digital person, wherever I was, which ended up being kind of the black sheep at every organization, where they like really, they respected you because they kind of knew that it was the next thing that you're part of, and they would go to you for ideas.
right.
But ultimately, there was a bit of a disrespect or a disconnect.
Well, the viral department anywhere is, hey, we want you to get tons of views and a lot of exposure for no money whatsoever. That's what it means to them. That's
Yeah, or what they do is you're already doing it online for years, and then they just put their TV person on it. And like we were doing something called What's Trending, and then the network at the time launched a segment on TV, even though we were the brand on their site, called Trender Bender.
Wow, really?
Talk about it.
That
Disconnect.
sounds horrible.
That's not.
You know what I mean? It's like
Fuck
just
Trender
so
Bender.
old.
Yeah.
And it's just like an old version of like what an executive producer thinks is relevant, like a spin-off, the oldest type of spin-off you can have. But I see that happen so many places, and that's what keeps us going. We've been through so much. What's Trending as a brand. We've been around, since April 2011 is when we launched. So we're really young. And we're a blog, we're obviously a daily show, our social media, everything's really important. But I keep seeing so many other networks and traditional companies wanting to do what we're doing. So while we might have a lot of challenges, it inspires us to keep going, that we're on the right path. Because why would we just, even if we're going through some hard times, stop what we're doing, so we could just get hired to do what we're doing for someone else and have no upside.
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've been doing for 10 years, is just kind of
Exactly.
doing our own thing. So.
I mean, yeah, it's funny. You met my dad yesterday.
Yeah.
In the green room.
Yeah.
Family. And my dad even was really inspired by what you're doing. He goes, yeah, I was talking to him, just asking him. I know it's a different niche and a different audience, but it's still the business models and ownership. It's very similar. So,
Yeah, he was asking all the right questions, which is interesting as well.
well, because he also is very, involved, and he's kind of an entrepreneur. So I'm fortunate enough to have grown up around entrepreneurs, which I do think helps. Whereas if you sometimes
He gave me bagels. He has a bagel company.
yeah, he
And-
randomly
Montreal
acquired
bagels?
a bagel company.
Are they
They're Montreal bagels. I should have brought them.
Oh,
Montreal bagels are de bomb. They are special.
Yeah.
Honey water oven
Tim Hortons.
Man,
bagels.
when I was there, I had one of those. The guys from Epic Mealtime are from
yeah,
Montreal.
Yeah.
And they
Harley,
told us to go to Schwartz's Deli and have a
Schwartz's
smoked meat sandwich.
meat.
Wow, dude, that was awesome. That blows away anything I've had in
You
Texas.
should see the lineup out there at like 2 a.m. on a Saturday when people
Yeah?
are fucking smashed. Like, I want some smoked meat.
Tout à l'heure. Oh, you know to speak French even though you're from Toronto?
I'm not from Toronto.
Oh, where are you from?
Well, I was born in Montreal and then moved to
Oh,
Ottawa,
there you go.
and then went back to Montreal for school. So I don't know where I'm from. I'm from Canada.
what about
Canada.
poutine? Did you try some poutine?
I did.
I had some.
I give
Me
Sounds
Gavin,
like
too.
poutang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds really.
Gavin and I were just in
Gross.
Toronto, and I gave him poutine to try for the first time.
I think if you avoid describing it and avoid using the word curds, it
Curds.
sounds
Yes.
better. I just
No,
don't.
I just say fries, melted cheese, gravy.
It's so good.
It's pretty good. I had two
It
of those.
warmed me as it went down.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
sounds
best
like
drunk
my-
foods I've had all over the world are poutine and meat pies in Australia. That's
Meat
like
pies?
that's like the greatest thing ever.
Really?
Meat
It's just
pie
like-
sounds so
That was
something
the
like
thing,
Gavin
yeah.
would say.
You keep trying to make me eat a meat pie in Australia.
Yeah.
We've got meat pies.
Do you do
Yeah,
in the
plenty of
UK?
meat pies.
All right. Well, I'm fascinated by it. It's like a handheld pot pie.
Imagine Gavin
It's the
being like,
greatest thing ever.
Man, there are a ton of meat pies out here tonight.
Sounds like another version of a hamburger,
Rocking up
another
the
type
gash.
of hamburger.
Yeah, which is a good thing. Yeah.
You call a meat pie.
Yeah.
type
You're
of
not turning me
hamburger.
off at all by calling it that. Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
still
like
on board.
I don't like when people call a pizza a pie.
A pie?
It's really
That's it.
misleading.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
Pizza pie?
Yeah. Here's your pie.
All right.
Have you ever had Chicago deep dish pizza? That's a pie.
Yeah.
The real
Getting
stuff.
Hungry.
Shit, dude.
I know. Well, this is what happens on our podcast all the time. We end right before lunch, so we
are
always
going
start
for
talking
lunch?
about.
The airport?
So listen,
In and
where we are in downtown LA, we can go right after the podcast to Philippe's, which is the place that invented the French dip sandwich. And it's right around the corner from
It's
here.
a good
Our,
bet.
our engineer's nodding his head.
Yeah,
it?
that's a
Furiously.
good bet.
Didn't you say
Yeah,
it's
let's
called
go.
Eggs.
the French dip because of some dude called French?
I don't know, but it was one dude who came in every day and requested it, and so they just made the sandwich. And
I've
they're-
heard about that.
so one thing the French have stolen from us now, we invented the sandwich, and then they stole it. So
Le sandwich.
Shira, thank you for coming on the show.
Aw,
If
thank
you want to see
you.
Shira's show, which you should, go to youtube.com/what's-trending, or you can follow Shira on Twitter at Shira Lazar. That's
So nice of you guys.
SHIRALAZAR. Shira Lazar. And Hannah, if you want to follow her on Twitter, she's at Harto. HARTO. Thanks for coming on, Shira.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for the lovely cake yesterday.
We need to
Thank
get you in LA more.
Yes, we'll come back. I'm trying to convince Barb and Gav to come back more often, but Jordan is always here.
I'm
We're
in.
like, we're going to LA. I'll be like, okay.
We need to go to Disneyland.
Okay.
All right, thanks for listening, and let's go to Philippe's, guys. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.